Hey Dan, what's wrong with these plants?
Wrong with them? Well, some people prize this behavior. It's called dormancy. As described by the AHS, it's simply a plant that stops all vegetative growth, sets resting buds in the crown, and loses its leaves for the winter regardless of the climate and its growing place.
Regardless of the climate?
Well, see, I have a problem with that because I've looked all through the garden today, and this is really the only plant that's showing any kind of dormancy. So here is an example in my garden of what follows the definition closely. It's Taos, it's Patstamillis. But it's the only thing in the whole garden that's showing significant dormancy. So let's go look around at some others. Kurt Hansen's Notified Ground Crew, which is real close to species. And we can see that it's doing part of the dormancy thing in which it's losing its foliage. And now it's trying to go back into this deciduous bud right out of the crown, but it's still pretty long for all that. And you can see it's very consistent in the way that it looks. So by the definition, I can't call this dormant yet, and this is January 3rd. So if it's regardless of climate, when regardless of climate? Let's go look at another one. Alright, here we are at another plant here in the Ladybug Garden, and this is Bella Lugosi, another Kurt Hansen. It's a beautiful purple. And you can see at this plant right here, it's following the definition for dormant. Now these two rows were lined out about 2 months ago, and this is Bella Lugosi over here also, but you can see that it's in no way follows the definition of dormancy. So is this reacting more to the cold weather? Is that why it's dormant right now? Well, the definition says it's supposed to be regardless of climate. So let's go look at another plant. Okay, this one is called Annie Armstrong, and it was Tim Bell's from Georgia, and it's registered as a dormant, and right now it's not in that definition. Okay, they have a definition called semi-dormancy or semi-evergreen, which is purely somewhere between an evergreen, which is always green and does not lose its foliage, to the dormant deciduous bud scenario that we're having a hard time seeing here in my garden in January. As a hybridizer, I'm supposed to be able to have this definition, and if it's not reacting in my garden that way, how can I, call something dormant? This year I registered all my daylilies evergreen because, as you saw in the previous segment of my seedlings, almost all of them are full evergreen year-round. And also in the definition, if you notice, there's no word about hardiness or tenderness. It has nothing to do with dormancy or evergreen, by definition. Let's go look at one more plant. So you can see my corn has got a little frost damage from a week ago. Now in the dormancy, when people talk about them, they talk about it's cold dormant. In other words, it feels the cold and it starts reacting. Well, maybe that's the case that's happening in the garden. They also talk about photodormancy, which in other words, as the light gets less in the wintertime, the plants start reacting towards this dormant nature of dropping its foliage and turning into a deciduous bud coming out of the crown. Well, this plant is my mother's, Ray Hansen's, and this is called Berry Ice, and it's been grown in the far north, and is very much dormant up there. But here we are once again in January, and these things have not reached dormancy. Maybe some answers in my garden about dormancy will come in a month. We'll let you know. Bye. Bye.